What is your head doing when you speak? So on today's video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of your head position when you are speaking. Now, whether that's sitting at a desk and you're on Zoom calls, or you're on your phone, or whether you are standing and presenting. Either way, you cannot underestimate the significance of your head position on your voice. And I'm going to be sharing some of the common mispositioning of the head, and then also show you ways you can begin to find a more optimal head position for speaking. Obviously, if you're a singer as well, 100% apply this to the singing voice too. But before I get going, my name is Anuska Taylor. I'm an experienced voice coach. I've been training voices around the world now for more than 15 years. I'm also a singer-songwriter performer myself. So I put everything I teach into practice, and I have high demands on my own voice. So if you are interested in learning more about my work and my unique approach to the voice, which is really that your voice is highly emotional and we have to address the deeper emotional blocks and restrictions and beliefs that we hold about ourselves, our voice, and the world to really find freedom. And then when you combine that with the physical voice work, that is when your voice truly becomes free. So do check out the links below. I've got online courses through to my signature private voice coaching program, Speak with Impact, which is an 8-month program. And there's a reason why it's 8 months, because it really takes time to explore and integrate those deeper unconscious emotional drivers of our voice. And so that's why I don't generally offer short programs. It takes time if you want lasting transformation. If you just want some quick tips to get through a meeting, I'm probably not the coach for you. Although, of course, on this channel, I do offer quick tips to a point. So do check out the links below. If you enjoy my videos as well, please do consider subscribing. Please do like, comment, and share. So first of all, before we get going, I just want to say we're not looking for a perfect posture. And really, with the voice, we are looking for a spine that's free of postural distortions, which is dynamically stabilized versus rigidly held. Because it's really important that you have movement, that you can move, that you don't feel like you've got to stand there like this and speak, or sit there like this and speak like this. And I do remember very much in my early days, particularly of singing and watching people have singing lessons and also my own singing lessons for many years. So many people, when they have singing lessons, they're sort of rigidly standing there or holding onto their hands for dear life. And there's so much rigidity in the body. So we want movement, we want softness, we want that dynamic movement in the body when we are using the voice, but it still needs to be stabilized. And that's really important. And of course, the spine is absolutely essential for that stability in the body and ultimately in the voice. So first of all, 100% your head posture will impact your voice. The challenge comes because our bodies are very intelligent and they will adapt and they will compensate. So we could go through many years of postural misalignment and the body will just find a way around it. And it only really becomes an issue either perhaps as we get older, because the body doesn't adapt as easily as we get older, or if we increase our vocal load, if we start speaking more, singing more, using our voice more in more perhaps intense situations. If you're doing the odd speaking engagement here and there and your posture's out and your head posture's out, it probably won't make that much difference until you start to get much older. But if you're doing a lot of speaking and you want the ultimate freedom in your voice, then really do pay attention to today's video because it will really open your voice in so many ways. So first of all, let's talk about some of the common mispositionings of the head when you are speaking. And what we're going to do, I'm just going to tell you what they are first of all, and then I'm going to get you to actually try this out for yourself and just notice, because I can tell you this, but you're going to be like, well, it doesn't really matter. But actually, when you actually experience it, you'll start to hopefully notice the difference that it makes to your voice in a very direct way. So I certainly have experienced many of these myself. I now do a lot of yoga and Pilates. I have done actually for many years, just because I knew as someone that uses their voice very intensively, that this was something I really, really needed to work on. But for many years, I really struggled with this myself. So I'm coming from a place of compassion when I share this video today, because I think it's so common in our world where so many people spend most of their life seated. You don't even have to leave the sofa anymore, really, to do anything anymore. So this is why I want to share this. So it's very easy to get into these very unhelpful positions for your head, which then impacts the voice. So the first one is the chin jutting forward. So like that. Now, this is really common. I used to do this a lot when you are at a desk, at a computer. It's really easy to do that. And again, if you've spent your life doing it, you might not even realize that you are doing it. Now, another term for the chin jutting forward is upper crust syndrome. So with upper crust syndrome, the larynx has restricted movement, there's limited range, the strap muscles become shortened and tight, and these are muscles that connect the larynx to the sternum. So we have a destabilization of the larynx. The shoulders are often rounded as well, so you might find you're like this. Really common position. You know, maybe not quite this exaggerated, but really common. So the shoulders are rounded, the sternum compresses, and this really impacts breathing because the ribs can't fully expand. So with this upper cross syndrome, we have limited breath movement, we have limited range, and a destabilization of the voice. Again, if you're doing this every now and then, you probably won't notice much, particularly if you don't do a lot of speaking. But if you're speaking a lot, and this is a very common posture for you, you will start to notice the limitations in your voice. So that's the first one. I definitely resonate with that. I'm sure many of you do this as well, whether you're conscious of it or not. But at the end, I'm going to share how you can begin to work with this. The second one is the chin jutting up like this. So you might speak a lot like this. Again, it depends on often your positioning of your laptop, if you're working from home or working, in front of lots of computers. It just really depends on how your devices are set up. But you might find that your chin is always reaching up, your nose is always reaching up when you speak. So here, the extrinsic muscles of the larynx are stretched and tightened, and the vertebrae curves inwards, which compresses the space above the larynx. So we're really just limiting the voice in so many ways in these different positions. This one is probably common, but you might not really speak when you do this. This is probably more common potentially as a singer, but I'm going to mention it anyway. If you are often walking around with your chin to your chest, so maybe you're on a device a lot of the time and your chin is poking down. Now, this can be common for people, as I say, particularly singers, when maybe they're trying to get a slightly deeper voice or access more chest voice. So they might actually drop their chin to try and lower their voice, but all you're doing is just compressing the larynx. And I used to do this a few years ago, particularly as a singer. When I was going for high notes, I might lower my chin to kind of stabilize my larynx, drop my larynx so I could reach the high notes more easily. And I remember working with my coach, and she said to me, yeah, but you're starving Peter to feed John. So what she meant was, yes, you might in some ways be helping, but you're also in other ways really restricting the voice. So actually, we want the chin to be horizontal to the ground, neither poking towards the chest or poking towards the ceiling. This next one may be not so common anymore because most people don't have a landline. Most people are on their mobiles and they tend to put their phone on speaker or they're holding it in front of them. So this may not be common, but I'm going to mention it anyway. If you are someone that has an old school phone and puts your phone between your ears and you're speaking like this, again, the larynx is being compressed, it cannot move. And again, I don't see that so much anymore, but perhaps you have a landline and you do that when you speak. So again, just start to pay attention because you want the shoulders down, you want the chin horizontal to the ground when you're speaking. So that is not going to help your larynx, definitely not your neck. And then the final one, which is more jaw, but I'm going to mention it here anyway, is if you have an underbite. So you might speak like this. So the jaw comes forward. And again, this can be very common with singers, but you might also experience this as a speaker as well. So we're going to do something in a minute for you to start to see how this really restricts the voice. But that is not going to, again, allow the voice that freedom and space to move. And you're going to experience this in just a second. So in all cases here, the larynx will be constricted and limited, meaning you're not going to get the freedom in the voice. And you're not going to be able to access real power, real clarity, real strength in the voice. It is going to be limited. And as I said, though, the body will compensate to a point, it will adapt, but at some point, it's going to become a problem, particularly if you're doing more and more speaking or more singing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of exercises first of all, because I want you to start to experience this and feel it. And we're going to go through those different sort of misaligned postures first of all. And I'm going to get you first of all to do it just on an R vowel, R, and we're going to just move through them so that you can hopefully feel the difference when you eventually come back to that more optimal position. So we're going to start first of all with the chin jutting forward, so that upper cross syndrome. So ah, and then chin to the ceiling, ah, chin to the chest, ah, ear to the shoulder, ah, and then jutting the jaw forward. Now see if you can find a more optimal head position. So chin horizontal to the ground, ears over the shoulders. Just give your head a bit of a shake, back and forth, up and down, and see if you can find that middle ground. And now say ah, ah, and just see if you notice you've got more space. Now, if you do them sort of one after the other, you'll probably notice that this last one feels better and will sound better as well. Now, we're now going to do it and we're going to say something really simple. And then we're going to go through the positions now, because obviously you're probably not going to walk around saying ah, but you might be speaking, most likely speaking. So let's just say my name is, and you fill in the blank with your name. So my name is Anuska. So first of all, I'm going to say it with my jaw jutting forward. My name is Anuska. 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 And now roll the shoulders, get a bit more movement back, find that nice middle ground. Chin horizontal to the ground, ears over the shoulders. My name is Anuska. It's like night and day. To me, at least, it's like night and day. So you may not notice this straight away. And what I actually recommend you do is record yourself, because it might feel normal to you to jut your chin forward. So you might not really have the awareness that there's a lot of constriction there. But I think if you record yourself and listen back, hopefully the voice will actually tell you something different. So really, really important. I say this all the time, record yourself when you speak, because what you hear in your head is not what anyone else hears, apart from anything else. But also, as I said, when you've got into these sort of unhelpful habitual patterns, just going by what you feel often isn't a very good gauge, because for you, adjusting your chin forward feels normal, even though it's really restrictive. So record yourself, listen back, and hopefully you'll be able to hear a difference, even if you can't feel a difference. So just finally then, in terms of the alignment that you're really kind of aiming for when you speak, so this is whether you're standing or whether you're sitting, is you want the chin horizontal to the ground, you want the ears over the shoulders, making sure that they align vertically. So you might want to take some pictures of yourself. You might want to video yourself. Obviously, if you look in a mirror, it's going to be a bit difficult to look at yourself side on. So definitely take some photos or some videos, look at yourself in the mirror and just start to notice what you do. But you want the chin horizontal to the ground, ears over the shoulders, so they align vertically, and make sure also your shoulders are level. So this is both side on and obviously, are you speaking like this or like this? And on side on, it might be one comes forward or one goes back. So it's just trying to have more of an evenness and a balance in the body. Just notice, just start to notice when you find that more even alignment in your upper body, through your shoulders, through your neck, through your jaw, and then in terms of the head balancing on the body, what impact it makes to your voice. If you don't feel a difference, record yourself and listen for a difference in terms of the sound of your voice. And it's just always worth checking in. You know, we're all human. We all have quote unquote bad posture. We hunch over, we slump over, we get kind of lazy with our posture. So it's just checking in. And again, as I said at the start, it's not about rigidly holding your body, but it's about stabilizing the body, stabilizing the voice. And so things like Pilates are really good for this, or working with a practitioner that can really help you find strength and also release in these muscles to help you actually have the stability in your body. So I do think Pilates is really, really good for this type of thing. Or I do a lot of yoga. So but I hope this has helped. So do let me know how you go. If you noticed anything, what you noticed. If you want some help with this, you can always book a one-off 60-minute session and I can go through this with you online and help you just to find that alignment in your body. Everyone's different, everyone's bodies are different, everyone's voices are different. So there isn't really a cookie cutter approach, but we just want to find that stability without the rigidity. So I hope that's helped. And if you enjoyed today's video, please do like, comment, and share. And I'll see you on next week's video.